Hello children, hope you're fine. This is Radha, your English teacher. In today's class, we're going to talk about a very short story which is written by Ruskin Bond. The name of the story is The Ises Are Not Here. Okay, we shall understand. So let us understand about our author. Ruskin Bond was born on 19th May 1934 in Kasuli. He was a famous Indian author of British descent. He was awarded Padma Shri in 1999 and Padma Bhushan in 2014. And his famous works were Our Tree Still Grow in Dehra and Rain in Mountain. This is about the author Ruskin Bond. Now we shall understand the vocabulary meaning. It's a very small story. We have 3 glossaries. Formidable. It means powerful, or it can be causing fear. Gallant, brave. Revisory, daydream. Okay, we shall understand the story. It is part 2, lesson 6. I had the compartment to myself up to Rohana, and then a girl got in. So now here the narrator tells, I went into the compartment. A girl who came in, her name was Rohana. The couple who saw her off were probably her parents. So the girl's parents sent her off and she came into the train. She sat at the same compartment where the narrator was sitting. They seemed very anxious about her comfort. That is, girl's parents were very concerned about her comfort. They were advising her, be careful, the do's and don'ts in the train compartment. The woman gave the girl detailed instructions as to where to keep her things, when not to lean out of the window, and how to avoid speaking to strangers. They said their goodbyes. The train pulled out of the station. So here, Rohana's, probably their parents, were giving her the instructions what she has to do in the train compartment. Like, she has to be careful not talking to the strangers and where to keep all her belongings. Right? All this they were giving her the instruction to Rohana. As I was totally blind at the time, my eyes sensitive only to light and darkness, the author was sitting right opposite to Rohana. The author is blind here. He says that I was not able to see anything. I can feel only the light and the darkness. I was unable to tell what the girl looked like. Since the narrator was blind, he was not able to tell how she was looking. But I knew she wore slippers from the way they slapped against her heels. It would take me some time to discover something about her looks, and perhaps I never would. But I liked the sound of her voice and even the sound of her slippers. So now the narrator is telling, as I was blind, I was not able to figure out how she looks. I could hear only the footstep as she came into the compartment. The sound of a slipper I could hear, he says. Are you going all the way to Dehra? I asked. Now the narrator is asking the girl, are you going to Dehra? I must have been sitting in a dark corner because my voice startled her. She gave a little exclamation and said, I don't know anyone else here. Here, the author is asking the girl, are you going to Dehra? So she says, I am sitting in the dark corner because my voice is startling her. Now here, the author says that I am sitting in the dark corner. She gave an exclamation and said, I did not know anyone else here because her parents were told not to talk to any strangers. So she says, I don't know anybody here. Well, it often happens that people with good eyesight fail to see what is right in front of them. So here, the narrator says, although people have eyes to see around things, what is there in front, they fail to see. They have too much to take in, I suppose. Whereas people who can't see or see very little have to take in only the essentials, whatever registers most tellingly on their remaining senses. Sorry. So here he says, we forget or we fail to observe the things what is right in front of our eyes, although we have to see. Rather than those who cannot see or those who can see very little, they are very much a curiosity to know the things around. I didn't see you either, I said, but I heard you come in. Here, he says, I didn't see you coming, but I could hear that you came and sat in the compartment. I wonder if I would be able to prevent her from discovering that I was blind. So here he doesn't want to show that he was blind. He wants to cover showing that he was all right. He doesn't want to show that he was blind. Provided I keep my seat, it should not be too difficult. The girl said, I'm getting down at Saharanpur. My aunt is meeting me there. So the girl talks to the narrator. She says that I'm getting down in Saharanpur. My aunt is coming to meet me there. Then I had better not be too familiar. I said, aunts are usually formidable creatures. He says, aunts are so nice. They really play a very important role for all of us. Where are you going? She asked. She asked him, where are you going? To Dehra and then to Missouri. Oh, how lucky you are. I wish I were going to Missouri. I love the hills, especially in October, she says. Such a beautiful place that Missouri is, especially in October. It is so nice to feel it. I wish I could go there. Yes, this is the best time, says the narrator. I said, calling on my memories, the hills are covered with wild dahalas. The sun is delicious And at night you can sit in front of a log fire and listen to some music. It describes how beautifully we can enjoy the nature. Many of the tourists have gone and the roads are quiet and almost deserted. Yes, October is the best time, he says. She was silent, and I wondered if my words had touched her. He's feeling that. After describing all this, he feels that did I touch her by speaking all these words? Or whether she thought me a romantic fool. He feels that did I touch her by talking these words, or does she feel that I'm a romantic fool? Then I made a mistake. What is it like? I asked. She seemed to find nothing strange in the question. Had she noticed already that I could not see? Now he feels he has the inferiority complex. Oh my God, did she realize that I'm blind? Oh no, oh yeah, he has this confusion. But her next question removed my doubts. It says here, as he was thinking all about her, the next question she raised, why don't you look out of the window? Now she asked him, why don't you look out of the window? She asked. I moved easily along the brick and felt for the window length. The window was open and I faced it. He says, I was sitting near the window, so I turned my face towards the window and I faced it, making a pretense of studying the landscape. I heard the panting of engine. As he was blind, he could not see anything. He could only hear the panting of engine, the rumble of the wheels, and in my mind's eyes, I could see the telegraph post flashing by. That always happens, she said. Generally, when we are sitting on the train, and the trees will be moving and we are sitting in the same place. It happens, she says. Do you see any animals? She's asking. Can you see any animals? Hardly any animals left in the forest near Dera. I turned from the window and faced the girl, and for a while we sat in silence. It means he just turned from the window side. He just turned his face and he sat in front of the girl in silence. You have an interesting face, I remarked. I was becoming quite daring, but it was a safe remark. Few girls can resist flirting. So he says, you have an interesting face. As he looks at her sitting in silence, he talks to her saying, you have an interesting face. She laughed pleasantly, a clear ringing laugh. She gave a laugh. It's nice to be told that I have an interesting face, the girl replies. It's nice to be told that I have an interesting face. I'm tired of people telling me I have a pretty face. She says this. Oh, so you do have a pretty face, thought I. And loved, I said, well, an interesting face can also be pretty. He describes to her saying that an interesting face will also be pretty. You are a very gallant young man. Means, she says, you are a very brave young man, she said. But why are you so serious? I thought then that I would try to laugh. When she asked me this, I thought of laughing for her. But the thought of laughter only made me feel troubled and lonely. He felt like giving a laugh, but he thought, no, if I laugh, it may be into a trouble, so he did not react anything. Thank goodness, it's a short journey. I can't bear to sit in train for more than 2 or 3 hours. We will be at your station, I said. Thank goodness, it's a short journey. I can't bear to sit in a train for more than 2 or 3 hours, she says. Thank God. I cannot sit for more than 2 to 3 hours. It was a short journey. Yet I was prepared to sit there for almost any length of time, just to listen to her talking. Her voice had a sparkle of the mountain streams. He describes her so beautifully, saying that although I did not have eyes to see her, I could feel the sense that she's still sitting and talking to me, and her voice was so beautiful, it was like the sparkle of the mountain stream. As soon as she left the train, now it was her station, it had come, and she had to get down in the station. So she would forget our breath and counter, but it would stay with me for the rest of the journey and for some time after. Now he feels that although she finished her journey, although she finished talking to me, I'm still enjoying her voice as he describes the sparkle of a mountain streams. He enjoys now and even after journey, he says. The engine's whistle shrunk the carriage wheels, changed their sound and rhythm. The girl got up and began to collect her things. Now it was her station, she has to get down, so she started to collect all her belongings from the compartment. I wonder if she wore her hair in a bun. Now he is thinking how her hair was. She had tied a bunyard, or it was plaited, or it was hung loose over her shoulders, or if it was cut very short. He wants to know about her hairstyle, how she had left her hair. The train drew slowly to the station. Outside there was shouting of porters and vendors and a high-pitched female voice near the carriage door, which must have belonged to the girl's aunt. Now the girl's aunt would have come to receive her. Goodbye, said the girl. The girl said to the narrator, goodbye, and she left the compartment. She was standing very close to me, so close that her perfume from her hair was tantalizing. He says that she was so close to me and her perfume made me such a pleasant smell. I wanted to raise my hand and touch her hair. He wants to touch the girl's hair, but she moved away. And only the perfume still lingered where she had stood. The place she was standing, I could only sense the perfume smell. You may break, you may shatter the vase if you will, but the scent of the roses will linger there still. There was some confusion in the doorway. A man getting into the compartment stammered an apology. Then the door banged shut and the world was shut out again. Now here what happened? As the girl got down, there was another man who got into the same compartment, opened the door, and he got into the same compartment where the narrator was there. I returned to my berth. The guard blew his whistle and we moved off. Once again, I had a game to play with the new fellow traveler. Another person who got into the compartment, he has to have a conversation, he felt. The train gathered speed. The train started to move very fast. The wheels took up their song. The carriage ground and shook. I found the window and sat in front of it, staring into the daylight that was darkness for me. He feels that. Now he was sitting in the train and he could feel the staring of the daylight, and that was darkness for me, for him. So many things happening outside the window. It would be fascinating game guessing what went out there. The man who entered the compartment broke into my reverie. That is, as he was sitting and thinking of her having a daydream, the boy who came into the same compartment, he broke his daydream. You must be disappointed, he said. I'm sorry. I'm not as attractive a traveler companion as the one who just left. Now here, at the moment he arrived inside, the person who was sitting in the train, he was having a daydream. Since he made a noise and came inside, he said, I'm sorry, I disturbed your daydream. Maybe I won't be the companion who was sitting before in this place. That is, he says, I won't be a very good companion as the girl was a very good companion to you, he says. She was an interesting girl, I said. The narrator says that she was an interesting girl. Can you tell me, did she keep her hair long or short? Now he is asking the person who entered the compartment, he is asking about her long hair or short hair, or she was having a bun, or she plaited. He is worried and he is asking how the hair was looking. He says, I don't remember, he said, sounding puzzled. It was her eyes I noticed, not her hair, he says. I just observed her eyes. I did not observe her hair. She had beautiful eyes, but they were of no use of her. He says, she had very beautiful and attractive eyes, but it was of no use. She was completely blind. Didn't you notice? So the girl who came into the compartment, she was also blind. Here, the narrator describes beautifully, saying that both of them were blind. So here, the third person is asking the narrator, didn't you observe that she was blind? This is the story about The Eyes Are Not Here, which is written by Ruskin Bond. It's a very short story and interesting story. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you, students.